Welcome back. 27 maximum security inmates at the Bahamas Department of Corrections received their certificate of graduation after successfully completing the Prison Fellowship International's The Prisoner's Journey program. The TPJ program is designed to transform the lives of prisoners from the inside out by introducing them to a restorative relationship with Jesus, who was also a prisoner. On Monday, Acting Commissioner Don Clare congratulated the inmates on their success and challenged them to make real changes in their lives.
You all have taken the, don't mind your friends, But those of you who confess that you're changed, yes, sir, show your change. Yes, sir. And I can guarantee you, you will be noticed, because it always baffles me, with maximum security persons in here. The residents, everybody tough, rough, and mean. And when you get to medium security prison, everybody living in the same dorm. Yeah. Talking, playing basketball, eating the same food. Yeah. So that's the way it is. So my thing is this, you have taken that first step. Only you can change yourself. It doesn't matter what we do, what we try to teach, how we try to prepare the staff to teach you. It is up to you to make that change within yourself. Folks, I have did things in my life. If I was caught, I'd have been in here for 30 and 40 years. And most of us have done things that if we were caught, we'd have been here. But thank God, we decide to change our lives and to move on the right path.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The inmates participated in a full award ceremony where they got to see some of their loved ones. They shared in a time of praise and worship led by the prisoners' praise team, as well as shared testimonies about how fellowship has changed their lives. Thaddeus Williams tells his story.
This program has done a lot for me. When I came to prison, I was a violent inmate. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Till they had to exercise me in the cage. And thanks to chaplain, I had a chance to go to a lot more classes and become closer with God. And now, for the first time in years, I'm able to see my family. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And if it wasn't for the commissioner, assistant commissioner, along with Prisoner's Journey and chaplain, none of this would be possible. Yes. So I just would like to say thanks.
The Prisoner's Journey is a 6-week course for inmates willing to participate. The Bahamas Department of Corrections is strained due to psychiatric patients who were sentenced by the courts to Sandilands, a rehabilitation center, being referred to be housed at the correctional facility instead. This much is coming from the Acting Commissioner of the Bahamas Department of Corrections, Don Clare. He says this is vexing, or it is a vexing issue that needs to be addressed.
We have close to 154 mentally ill inmates here at the Bahamas Department of Corrections. Sandilands, I assume now, I guess, is pretty much beginning the process to reopen its doors to persons who are incarcerated here. But as it stands now, we are holding them. And it's a tremendous burden on us because, BDOCS is not a place for the mentally ill.
Now, as a result of this demand, AC Clare says, this forced the correctional facility to seek help from Canadians as well as the American Correctional Association, who have assisted in proper training for their officers at the Bahamas Department of Corrections. Mr. Clare says additional changes have been made within the system to accommodate these types of inmates.
We have had 30 officers who is now certified in mental health management. We now have a next 30 going into training. So we have completed a renovation to a psychiatric wing of this institution, and we are now putting in place sound policies and procedures to manage these mentally ill persons. Also, too, the government has already hired 4 psychologists, and we have 2 psychiatrists now on board, and we are now only waiting on Dr. Nelson Clark now to join us to pretty much solidify our mental health department here at BDOCS. So this has caused us to do a lot of changes at our institution, and we just hope and pray that when these things really comes into operation, that it would be less issues and less deaths in our facilities.
That was Acting Commissioner of the Bahamas Department of Corrections, Don Clare. A diplomatic row has been simmering between the United States and Jamaica over Jamaica's refusal to accredit the spouse of an American diplomat. Reports are that earlier this year, the United States government wrote to the Jamaican government seeking its approval for the married partner of a diplomat about to be posted to Jamaica and who is in a same-sex relationship to be given diplomatic immunity and all of the privileges of the diplomat. Reportedly, the Jamaican government did not respond to the request. Where the U.S. sent another diplomatic note demanding a response, the Jamaican government responded rejecting the request, as an approval of the request would mean that Jamaica recognizes same-sex marriages, which is illegal in the country. Reports are that the U.S. then responded by rejecting a request from the Jamaican government to extend the stay of 3 diplomats in Jamaica's embassy and consulates in the United States. The situation has raised questions about the Bahamas and the rest of the Caribbean possibly facing similar circumstances. Meanwhile, among those affected are Jamaica's ambassador to the United States, Audrey Marks, and Consul General Oliver Mayer, based in Miami, who the Americans say must leave and return to Jamaica by the end of the year. It is unclear if the U.S. will take any further diplomatic measures against Jamaica. For 50 weeks, staff of the Bahamas Agricultural and Industrial Corporation, BAIC, will take part in the 50 Acts of Love and Service in honor of the country's 50th anniversary of independence. And that will include all of the BAIC's officers across the country. A few days ago, the initiative kicked off. Executive Chairman of BAIC and Member of Parliament of Southern Shores, Leroy Major, says staff members will demonstrate acts of service to the community or give donations not exceeding $50.
Each family island and each department in New Providence will be called upon over the next 50 weeks to demonstrate a random small act of love and service to an individual or an institution, such as the old folks' home, children's homes, schools, churches, gas stations, grocery stores, and police stations. We have designated weekly themes to work from, such as be prepared in reference to the hurricane season, police or your friends, children or the future, man's best friend, be our brother's keeper, earth strong, class in session, worship through giving, story time, blood is thicker than water, and respect your elders. This 50 Acts of Love and Service initiative is just a reminder to all of us at BAIC and the wider community that charity begins at home and ends abroad. We will begin this initiative by targeting our neighbors in the surrounding communities of BAIC first.
The first act was a donation of water and canned goods to Unity House, a home for the elderly. Another initiative the corporation undertook was the burying of a 50-year time capsule on Independence Day, which will be dug up on July 10th, 2073.
We either wrote a letter or we put some kind of paraphernalia from BAIC or personal letter to a general manager, to a particular manager, and we plant a time capsule that will be, I guess, erected 50 years from now to whoever is the general manager or the chairman, whoever the staff is. We send them a letter letting them know this is what we are doing in this period. And we just want to encourage them 50 years from now, whoever they are, to let them know that, hey, that we are standing strong here in 2023, and in 2073, we want you to continue to be standing strong and also serving the community.
Chairman Major says he hopes these initiatives will encourage Bahamians to do the same and remind BAIC employees in the future of their mandate to empower and remain helpers of the community. And finally, the Bahamas Feeding Network, BFN, in collaboration with its title sponsor Fidelity and Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate, MCR Bahamas, will host its second annual tee-off for the Hunger Golf Tournament. Chairman of the Bahamas Feeding Network, Felix Stubbs, says he expects the tournament to be even bigger this year. The monetary goal has been increased from $50,000 to $70,000.
As you would have heard earlier, we were feeding 100,000 meals a month at one point in time. But over time, more and more people are looking for donations, and so our sponsors are becoming a bit wary and can support us to the same level that they've done in the past. But now we're feeding up to 60,000 meals a month. But the demand hasn't gone away. So it tells you that there's still a whole lot of people out there who aren't getting their full daily meal requirements. And that's a problem for us here in the Bahamas. In fact, it's a global problem, but it's more importantly because we're here, we need to be our brother's keepers, and we need to make sure that we do as much as we can to feed the underserved. And so I'm delighted that all of our sponsors who supported us last year have come back again this year, but most importantly again to Fidelity, who is our title sponsor, because without them, this tournament would not be possible.
The $70,000 goal will help the network provide up to 750,000 meals during the course of the year. The tournament will take place on September 18th at the Ocean Club Golf Course on Paradise Island. Chief Executive Officer at Fidelity, Gowan Bowe, expressed how important it is for the company to be partnering with the Bahamas Food Network for the second time.
We understand that you're not going to be able to reach every individual on your own. But when you partner with organizations like the Bahamas Feeding Network, which we've actually been partnering with many years, the golf tournament in part is because of our enthusiastic golf members of Fidelity who enjoy the display of their colors, but more importantly to actually participate in an event of camaraderie. And I think the upside of the golf tournament is one that says it is not only about the sponsorships, but it is about the individuals that play, making them aware of the initiative. So golfers will be attracted to a tournament, but once you get people in a room, it allows you to have the conversation, whether on the course, whether in the clubhouse afterwards, to speak about the cause. And sometimes it's just a whispering ear, or the ability to whisper into an ear the needs that are there. And so we are very proud to be title sponsor again.
Bahamian Olympic gold medalist Pauline Davis is also supporting the cause by donating some of the proceeds from her award-winning memoir, Running Sideways. She commends the Feeding Network for their continued commitment.
And I want to say to every single young boys and girls that are coming out of those type of communities that I came out of, I need for you to understand that your education is paramount. You must get a good education. And it's not how you start in life, it is how you finish. And that God is looking over you, watching over you, and you must work to be all that you can be. And yes, you might be having a little difficulty right now in terms of not being able to eat a full square meal, but just know that you are not alone. And the food is like music to our soul. It's like nutrition to our hearts. It allows us to walk around and be healthy and be strong. And this great organization like the Food Network, gosh, may God continue to bless and keep every single one of you.
Those interested in the two-man golf scramble tournament, you can find your entry forms on the Bahamas Feeding Network's website. That'll do it for your JCN Evening News. Once again, I'm Jcn Saunders.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.